Emergency service providers work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Our main purpose is to save lives.
That's what we train to do.
Somebody dies or somebody gets saved.
For our first responders, the moment the call for help comes in,
4 people in the water from a sunken vessel.
the race against time to save a life begins.
How sick is this patient?
It is a life and death situation.
Through unprecedented access
His body's starting to shut down.
We need to do something quickly. It is going to be painful.
and intimate interviews,
It'll certainly stick with me.
in this series, we're telling their stories.
It is a privilege to be able to help people. It's not something I ever take for granted either.
To change a patient's outcome feels amazing.
This week on First Responders,
The higher the winch, the more dangerous it is.
the stakes could not be higher as Josh faces his first winch job.
If there is a engine failure, basically I'm looking for things to grab onto. If they need to cut the cable and get out of there.
And finds a motocross rider near death.
Where's that all sore, mate? You tell me exactly where.
His body's no longer coping with his blood loss and it's basically starting to shut down.
And a fishing boat miles out at sea is no place for an agonising medical condition.
Clear to step.
Doing one of our most technical challenges is actually getting sick people off fishing vessels way off the coast.
When I'm on the end of that wire, I'm at the beaconing of the crew that's looking after me. So there's a lot of trust that goes with it.
Helicopters are an essential tool of the trade in rescue work. Aside from getting to a scene faster, they can also access difficult-to-reach places. But they can't always land. Flight crews train constantly as a team to make sure their winching capabilities are second nature.
We always need winch medics, so you're basically straight into the training.
Medic is suspended at the door on safety.
The very first time you step out that door, you get that feeling of this is a little bit freaky or it's a little bit cool, but you get pretty used to it.
Clear to winch out. Okay, winching out medic. Medic is 5 below. Good position there.
It's the highlight of the job, really, doing the winch stuff for me. I mean, it's just fun, hanging outside a helicopter and getting in the water.
10 foot. Forward 6 only. Medic is at 10 foot. Roger, running it. Running it. Forward 5. Good line.
Training starts in open spaces, then moves to bush, and finally open water onto a moving boat.
Forward and right 4.
So I've been a paramedic for almost 8 years now. I joined straight out of high school, went to university, was interested in medicine.
Forward and right 2.
But I didn't want to be stuck inside in a hospital all day, so I wanted to be out and about in the sunshine.
Medic is on the deck. Medic's off the hook. Back and left for your target. Roger, my target's coming up at 2.
The Northland Emergency Services Trust, or NEST, covers some of the most remote countryside of New Zealand. Today, Josh and fellow St John Critical Care Paramedic Mark Going are on their way to what could be a life-threatening accident in Waiharara.
We had pretty limited information. We knew there was a patient who was in the pine forest north of Kaitaia. He's come off a motocross bike, he's a male and he's short of breath.
So knowing the remoteness of the area and the access was going to be an issue, we went prepared for a winch job. I was the winch operator for that role, and Josh was going to be the winch medic that would go down and assist the patient.
Push bar is on. Cable cutter is armed.
Is armed. Copy that. Yep. Medic is on the hook.
Josh has been training as a winch medic for 2 years, but this will be his first ever operational job.
Happy, Josh?
Yep, maybe.
Happy.
All right.
I was pretty excited.
I'll let you know if I need a stretcher.
Yep.
But I also knew I had to think about what I've learned in training, and there are a few things I had to make sure I covered off and didn't miss anything.
I'll bring the medic to the door. He is on safety. Copy. Copy that. In the airway. 5, 4.
Quite a high winch. There was fully grown pine trees there.
Steady there. Good position. Clear the winch. Clear the winch. Coming off safety. And winching out. Copy.
So that creates a challenge of trying to get someone into a spot, but also from a safety point of view, The higher the winch, the more dangerous it is, maybe clipping a tree or creating a pendulum effect with the medic going down.
10 below the door.
I'm looking to see if there's any hazards, anything I'm going to snag on the way down. Also bearing in mind the aviation stuff, if there is a engine failure or something like that, basically I'm looking for things to grab onto if they need to cut the cable and get out of there.
Steady there.
All that stuff's just in the back of your mind though, it's just, you're just having that awareness.
Approaching the ground. On the ground. Off the hook. Winching an empty hook.
Hit the ground and I was greeted by some of his mates. He's lying on the ground, he's on his side.
Hey guys, I'm Josh. Josh. That's his name? Hemi. Hey Hemi.
It's really hard for me to breathe. Yeah.
Yeah, you believe there's a tree here? I believe he's hit down this right-hand side of his body, including here with his helmet. And he's got a little puncture, which might have well have been from a stick on the tree trunk.
Has he walked it all since?
No.
He's been conscious the whole time now?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's groaning, he looks quite short of breath. He looks pretty pale as well.
Is it painful if I push you? Mate. Yeah, fuck me.
He's cool, he's clammy, and I can't feel an obvious radial pulse either. So that's immediately there's warning bells going off, and I'm thinking he's actually quite sick. His mates have told me his bike's probably 20 metres down the track. He might have been going 100 k's or so, and he's hit a pretty solid tree. Looking at him, I think he's got some pretty critical injuries.
Doing good, buddy. If you just take little breaths into this will help with the pain, okay? You're not allergic to anything? You don't have anything called malignant hypothermia? Smooth, bro. Nice deep breaths on that, eh? Can you hold that in this map?
I think he's got fractures in the pelvis, hip region. He's tender all through his abdo, so we're thinking internal bleeding around there.
Where's that all sore, mate? You tell me exactly where.
And also his chest, he's short of breath, very painful in palpation. So I'm thinking he's got rib fractures and potential for lung injuries as well. Had a puncture wound, so there was still uncontrolled bleeding in there. And yeah, just looking at him, he looks status 1, time critical. So basically there's a immediate threat to life.
St John Critical Care Paramedic Josh Raravula has discovered motocross rider Hemi in a far worse state than expected, so he needs to change tack quickly to save Hemi's life.
We go by the mantra of rescue first, treat later, normally. But in this situation, I knew there were things that needed to be done on the ground, but I also knew that I have to get him on the stretcher and out of here to hospital.
Helimed, this is medic. We'll need the stretcher. Querying a status 1 at this stage. I don't have a good radial.
When he said that it was a status 1 patient and needed the stretcher, and that's a bit of a red flag.
We'll winch it down. Okay.
That sort of indicated that, you know, he could have his hands full.
The hoist bit is on.
Bring in the hook up line. Right 2, stand by. Catch up. Off the XD. Clear the winch. Clear the winch. Winching out. Right 3, through the canopy. Right 2. 15. Steady. Approaching the ground. Copy. Steady. On the ground.
So we had the option of flying round and round in the sky, waiting for Josh to prepare the patient and then winch up or locate to a site nearby.
I'm wondering if we go over to that four-wheel drive.
Yes.
It's a status 1. I can get out and see what assistance I can be.
Copy, mate. Okay.
The landing site that we chose was on a forestry track, and there was a ute and a quad there.
Just make sure that ute, we're not going to hit it with that disc.
No, clear.
By landing and shutting the machine down, that conserved our fuel and gave us options to either fly to Whangarei or further on to Auckland if required. And then I jumped on the motorbike with some gear and headed off towards Josh and the patient.
Might get you to come back and grab the defib as well.
So all that pain, mate, is that in your chest or your hips?
It's in my hip. Like, it's just too hard to believe.
It's great to see that he is conscious and talking to me. It means he doesn't have a significant head injury, but I could see he had a low blood pressure. He's looking pale, clammy, sweaty. His breathing's extremely laboured and fast. His heart rate's also very quick. These are all signs and symptoms of decompensated shock. which means his body's no longer coping with his blood loss and it's basically starting to shut down.
So I'm gonna have a good look at your chest first, okay? You're quite short of breath, eh? I'm just gonna cut this blood, okay?
I didn't want him to cut it, to be honest. That was my favourite shirt. But I guess maybe at that point I'm like, yeah, do what you have to, cut my shirt. I was having the greatest time of my life, I think, that day. I was actually really enjoying it. There was some tree roots in the track and my back wheel bounced. Tiny little split second, it was just like, oh shit. Just instant stop into a pine tree. When I first woke up, I was just staring at the sky. I could make out it was blue. I'd already convinced myself, no, you're not gonna die. We can forget about thinking like that. But then as I started to lose more and more blood and harder to breathe, that's when I got really close. I guess there was a point where you start to calculate, shit, well, I don't think I've got much time now. Oh, goosebumps. Hearing the helicopter is the greatest sound you can hear when you're in that situation. It gives you a sense that everything's gonna be okay and you've now got another higher chance of survival. Oh, it just sounds like angel's wings. Yeah. I can't breathe.
He's focusing on breathing and basically just trying to stay alive. I could tell he was scared, but he was putting on a brave face and doing everything he could to help us, so he's a pretty cool customer.
When we were moving his feet to take his boots off, I was applying pressure here and I could feel a click and a grind in the hip, almost like a crunch.
I could tell he had some significant fractures in his hip and pelvic region.
Is it painful around here, mate?
This up
here,
Yeah.
I knew he had significant injuries and he was bleeding internally. I had concerns that he actually had a collapsed lung and an air pocket building in there.
Hang in there, all right?
Mine, there's no marks on it.
We try to remain calm on the outside, but there's probably a little bit of that ducks on the water element where the feet are going pretty quick underneath.
Sorry. Yeah. There was another quick roll, guys.
My priority was to get him out of here, get him in the stretcher and get him to hospital for surgery.
With Josh battling on his own to save Hemi's life, Mark's arrival is met with relief.
Yeah, I didn't actually know Mark was landing at the time because I was a bit occupied, I guess.
Hey, Josh.
Hey, mate.
It was a welcome surprise when I looked up and he's right there.
That pain that you felt there, whereabouts was that?
So when you're dealing with a critical patient, if you're doing that on your own, that's a huge challenge. So having another set of hands was beneficial. And also I was really impressed with the other riders there who were really open to helping us out. That made a huge difference.
Thank you. Just keep that arm still for a second.
My friend's just amazing.
I've got a feeling that you and Awa have a bit in common.
They spoke about my dog.
Just think about Awa, bro. You just relax. He wants to get back to his dog. I know that. You're doing good, mate.
She had been through a traumatic broken pelvis herself, and inspiration to keep going too for her. And
you can breathe through this.
Dave especially was right there at Hemi's head. He was giving me all the information I needed. He was reassuring Hemi.
Hang in there, all right?
Mine, there's no marks on it.
It was worse than that.
When he first came off, he was.
Yeah.
He presented with shock and he was quite short of breath. He had diminished lung sounds on the right-hand side, so I suspected he had a pneumothorax.
His lung was collapsing, and that was putting pressure on his blood vessels.
Just breathe. Open your mouth and breathe through your mouth.
He was really struggling to breathe. We need him to act quickly.
I can't breathe.
If we don't, the patient will stop breathing, and then his heart will stop, and that's not a good outcome.
So we made the call to decompress him on the ground.
We're worried this lung has collapsed, okay? So we're just going to pop a little needle in there and just get any air out before we move you up, okay? Take you up to the helicopter. All right, mate, we're going to knock you out with some good medication, okay, before we do this. Yay!
So our first port of call for chest decompression is usually with a Turkle needle. It's basically inserting the needle in between his ribs, the space between the linings of his lungs, and releasing that built-up pressure of air.
So the needle is about that long, and it's a reasonable thickness, so it does take a little bit to get through the skin.
Oh, there's some nick there.
They were a little bit freaked out when they saw the big needle, so yeah. It's not something that they particularly enjoyed, I don't think.
Those that were prepared to help out with that stayed, and others may have taken a step back.
Oh. It's not something we do every day. I knew it was a good idea to get it done now before we move up to altitude, and there's actually a chance for that air pocket to expand.
So he does have a collapsed lung.
So once the initial treatment's been done on Hemi, we had to prep him onto a stretcher.
We had guys carrying the stretcher, carrying our gear. I had one of his mates holding the tagline for the stretcher.
We'll go up together, yep. So you're just stopping us from spinning, and I'll throw it down at the end.
A stretcher is prone to rotate. As you're going up, the downwash pushes on it and it can rotate.
See the winch? See the winch. Weight of 2 coming on. And clear of the ground. That's good. That's good height, good clearances.
So we have a rope one end of the stretcher and give that to someone on the ground, and that helps it not to spin, which is a good thing.
10 below. At the door.
Once we get up to the helicopter, there's a bit of fiddling around to rotate and then bring inside the aircraft. It's a real team effort with the timing of moving it around, the winch operator pulling it in, and then getting the assistance of the co-pilot.
And winch out.
Winching out.
To winch out at the same time to make it a nice, smooth operation.
Stop winching.
Stop winching.
For critical patients, time is an issue.
I think it's best if we get some numbers, get some fluid going, and then look at the sprint. Blood pressure's pumping up. Are you happy with his airway?
Yep.
We saw it weighing up where the best destination was, whether we go straight to Auckland or whether we go to Whangarei.
Yeah, I think the biggest concern is probably the bleeding from the pelvis and if it's punctured into the abdo.
So we knew there's a good chance that Hemi would ultimately end up in Auckland, but whether we could justify the extra probably 45 minutes, including a refuel in Whangarei, to get there.
We've got a high flow O2 on.
So the sets are showing 78, but he's on a non-rebreather and his limbs are cold, so that's going to not be so accurate.
I think we should get the pelvic splint on as well.
So we're 25 minutes out at this point.
He was just too decompensated. His blood pressure was too low. His body was already struggling with that blood loss. And without blood in the helicopter, we thought it safest to go to Whangarei first to get him stabilised, get the blood on board, and perhaps they could operate in theatre there as well.
I remember pacing the floor. It seemed like the longest time. They told me that he's in, well, very critical condition, and they were not able to tell me whether he would make it. He would have to be airlifted to Auckland. There was not much time to waste. He fought so hard. I think time would have run out, to be honest. If there was no helicopter, I think it would have run out. Yeah, so.
Broken ribs, severe whiplash, ruptured all my shoulder. I had collapsed right lung. I'd completely shattered my pelvis, kidney lacerations, adrenal gland lacerations, spleen lacerations, a grade 5 liver laceration, which is pretty much the worst thing you can get to your liver.
My gut feeling is that if a helicopter wasn't responded to him, then we probably wouldn't be having this conversation now. The distance between Kaitaia and Whangarei, going by road, I don't think he would have made it.
Well, I see a rescued boy. That's what I see. My baby. I'm very happy to have him. I feel very lucky, actually. And I always said that after. Oh, sorry. I feel very, very lucky as a mum to have him. Yeah.
Well, the parts that saved my life were inside. This has obviously done its job here. It's quite firm all the way through here on the left side. And then as we come through to the side where my head actually hit the tree, across here and across my lower neck, it's actually all it's all collapsed in here. So the foam's actually done its job where it's lost its density but held together. So it's taken all the shock, which has saved me from severe brain damage. It took me a while to accept that I shouldn't ride dirt bikes anymore. It's not that I can't, but I shouldn't. All the hard work that myself, my friends, and my family, and all medical practitioners have put there to keep me alive, it would be really, it'd be really disrespectful to put myself in the same dangers. My body probably couldn't take that type of impact anymore, and so I had to sadly let motorbikes go. I think she's my twin. She's so full on and she's quite fearless and didn't let her leg hold her back. So yeah, we're just thriving off each other's energy, and yeah, she's just my best friend. Yeah, and I'm so happy that I can still hang out with her and be here for her. I just can't run anymore. That's all. I think she misses that.
It was just awesome to see him walk into the base, you know, a matter of weeks later, and thinking, wow, is this the same guy?
Once I was able to get out and about, me and the dirt bike crew, we decided to hold a couple of fundraising events for the Auckland Rescue Helicopter. So far, we've managed to happily raise over $7,000 and more to come too. It's just a small sign of appreciation of what they do for us here in Auckland.
Good position, good height, good clearances all around.
Yeah, it's definitely significant for me. To have your first winch job being a status 1 patient is very rare.
I feel like shit. Yeah, I know, mate.
Especially having Hemi come back afterwards and having that relationship as well is pretty cool.
They're incredible, really. That's all I can say. They're the A-team. We go through life not thinking anything like that could happen. But when it does, they're the first on the scene. Yeah, they're saving lives, and I'm very, very grateful.
In matters of life and death, helicopters are the time savers that can make a difference. But there are other reasons to send in a chopper.
All flight crew, please ICPs to the ops room, please. Sounds like an offshore water job.
Today, the Auckland Rescue Helicopter team need to make a call on whether someone is in bad enough shape for them to risk their own lives with a rescue at sea.
Any offshore mission, it escalates straight away because of the risk factor. So we try and get as much information as we can from the tasking agencies.
Okay, so everyone's here, so fire away, tell us what you've got.
So we've got a job that is out in the Bay of Winching, 32 miles out from Wakatani, basically. It's 40 miles in a direct line from town. The notes that we've got so far is a 21-year-old male out of 10 pain.
One of our high acuity, most technical challenges is actually getting sick people off fishing vessels way off the coast.
We're then thinking, well, wet, boat, where is it? Have we got enough fuel to get there? Have we got enough fuel to get back? What's the sea states? What's the wind? And just generally how we're going to achieve this.
Mate, tell us what you've got.
The Auckland Rescue Helicopter crew are trying to assess whether a fisherman with extreme abdominal pain on a boat miles offshore is in sufficient danger for them to carry out a safe rescue.
14-metre vessel, red and white, that's got a large clear deck. It's a grey-style fishing vessel. Now, their ETA back at Tauranga under their own steam is around about 10 o'clock tonight. What's your guys' thoughts about winching onto a boat of that description?
So there's a lot of factors that we need to take into consideration. The size of the vessel, the type of the vessel, the competency and the capacity of the crew, time of the day, how much light we've got remaining.
The sea conditions out there are relatively calm.
Certainly 14-metre vessel with a competent crew on board, that's quite achievable.
We had a lot of things in our favour. The sea state was very calm. It was still a reasonable way offshore, but time of day was good. We had plenty of light available to us. The intensive care paramedic who's on the air desk, they've done an assessment over the phone.
It's not gallstones, he's got a history of kidney stones, and he's in significant pain, and we're just having a chat with him about whether he stays on the boat, and we meet an ambulance later on tonight, and then when there is a need potentially for someone on the boat.
Lou, our in-house doctor, do you have any comment on that?
It's kind of tough to say, I think, really. Well, I mean, can we get a better sense of what he looks like? Is he in distress? Sounds like it's primarily pain with a history of kidney stones. I mean, you can't rule out anything bad, but a 21-year-old.
You know, from a clinical perspective, I don't think that he would come to any great harm if we left him, but he is in significant pain and distress.
Until you actually do a face-to-face assessment with someone, you actually don't know what's going on.
He could have anything from a major blood vessel leaking into his abdomen, a blocked bowel, all those things that need surgery right away.
You know, taking all the risks and all the information we've got, it's actually quite reasonable to go and actually retrieve this guy, because if we left them there and it was something more serious, then he could potentially get very, very sick or die.
The safest thing and the most humane thing due to his pain is to go get him and get him in the hospital.
We have to be prepared for everything. We prepare the aircraft with life rafts, rescue tubes, everything we may need potentially, because once we get out there, we're a long way offshore. Rusty was going to be the lead on this mission, so he was going to winch down onto the vessel. I was what we call the number 2 swimmer, so if for whatever reason Rusty needs rescuing himself. We had Norm up front. He's a very experienced ex-Navy pilot, so he's done lots of boat winching before, so everybody felt pretty confident going into this mission.
Unicom, Westpac Rescue 2.
Westpac Rescue 2, Unicom.
Unicom, Westpac Rescue 2 is about 2 minutes away from departing down to the southeast mission just off White Island.
Westpac Rescue 2, Unicom,
Roger.
Boat winching is the most technical, dangerous sort of rescue that we do.
It is dangerous and there is risk associated, but it's not something that I'm doing by myself. We're doing it collectively and we're doing it as a crew. I think we bring out the best in each other by working together.
It's a 14-metre vessel and it's red and white. Large clear deck, all tied down. They're travelling at 8 knots and course is west-southwest.
Down.
So the only thing from a risk assessment, from my point of view, if for some reason it wasn't a straightforward overhead deck winch and we got a little bit of a swing, put us in the water by any means. But obviously the only concern is with someone in our AOV is the buoyancy side of it. So if it's only a temporary dip in to dip out to centralise, it's no big deal. It's fine. Yep. So happy with that.
No worries.
The pertinent question will be is can he make his own way to the back of the deck once I'm on board, and if he can mobilise by himself, then I'm reasonably happy that we don't need to do much until he's up here.
We make radio contact with them. We need to give them clear, concise instructions on directions and what to do.
Hello.
G'day mate, it's Glenn from Westpac Rescue 2. How you going?
Yeah, mate, good thing.
Just letting you know, mate, we are about 18 minutes out.
Yep.
Just wanted to confirm that the deck's all secure. You've got everything tied down, there's no loose articles.
Yes, it is, yes.
Okay, excellent. And in about 18 minutes, if you could just be tracking into wind.
Yes.
And we'll just be sending a guy directly onto the deck. Then we'll back away and we'll assess the patient, and then we'll more likely just come back in for a direct winch off the deck.
What speed do you want me to be doing?
About 8 knots is fine.
Okay, good. Well,
And can the patient, is he able to make his way to the stern?
yes, he is.
Excellent.
That's quite important for us. That means if he can walk, we can actually put him into a harness and winch him off, versus if he's unconscious or unresponsive, we have to put him into a stretcher, which takes time.
So now it's all systems go.
You are below 60, clear door.
Roger, he's secure, right door's coming back.
Off the coast of Whakatane, the Auckland Rescue Helicopter Trust are tracking to a fishing vessel where a crew member is experiencing extreme abdominal pain.
What speed do you want me to be doing?
About 8 knots is fine.
They've made phone contact with the skipper and are now approaching the boat.
Motorcycle Rescue 2, you could track into wind, that'd be great.
Roger, they're tracking to wind.
I'm on safety. We are set and secure in the rear with 3 on safeties.
Okay, you are set, correct, the back. You are below 60, clear door.
Roger, he's set secure, right door's coming back.
Before we go straight into the winch, we need to obviously assess any immediate dangers to the aircraft or the paramedic.
Right door is back and secure.
Cabin door is acknowledged.
That's the target there in the 1 o'clock, is it?
Affirm.
Roger.
Going to a fishing vessel, they could have fishing lines out, especially if you've got outriggers. They could have cluttered decks, they could have stuff that could blow up through the rotor wash. They might have very experienced personnel, they may have even actually done it before to a helicopter. But we can't assume that, so we assume zero knowledge.
Calm down, I'll come round into wind.
Roger, my cut guard's down, get horsepower on.
This was Glenn's first deck winch, and we were all aware of that, so we took extra time to talk to him and make sure that he was comfortable. He was with an experienced crew, so it's probably one of the best missions to get out of the way.
It's clear to bring the hook inside.
Clear, hook inside.
In my first deck winch, the adrenaline does kick in.
Just attaching Rusty.
There's a part of you that wants to prove that you're up to the task. You also want to prove to your other crew members that you're the right person for the job.
Okay, I've got Rusty in his harness. He's attached to the hook with the ARV and Alpha pack attached.
He's got his outriggers on.
Roger.
This is a good speed.
I'm in the wake position. I can see the vessel quite happily and I can maintain my own position.
Can't see any loose articles, everything seems to be secure.
When I get closer, it begins to disappear, at which point I can't maintain relative position to it. You then hand over the con of the aircraft to the crewman in the back, because he can have a better view out the door, at which point you then rely upon his con.
In terms of best positioning to go on there, just on the deck, I think there where he suggested.
He relies completely on the crewman to position the aircraft.
If he loses reference, obviously there is a situation where he could potentially crash us into the sea.
There is always an element of nervousness, but that's actually a good thing, because if I ever go to step out the door and I don't feel a little bit nervous, a little bit apprehensive, it's probably time to give it up, because we need to be in a mental state of alertness. It keeps us on edge, it keeps us sharp, and it makes us not be complacent.
Roger, clear to winch.
You are clear to winch.
Disconnecting safety and starting the safety. Winching out.
Copy.
Winching to a safe height. Past the step.
There's a lot of trust that goes with it, and I don't worry about things that I can't control. I focus on the things that I can control.
And he's halfway. Forward only 20. Forward and right 10.
It's all about situational awareness, communication, and those high energy, high tense situations. You really need everyone to be on top of their games.
Forward and right 2. Right only 1. Right 2. And he's on the deck. Disconnecting the hook. Hook's disconnected. Hook's cleared the deck, back and left.
The insertion itself went smoothly. There was a nice clear area between the aircraft and the intended position on the deck.
So Rusty, you happy?
Roger.
Yeah, it's the guy who could put in the blue shirt behind me. He's up and mobile, so I just probably only need about 5 minutes to get him an ARV.
We will do a couple of circuits now and come get you.
Winching a patient from a vessel, there is always an element of risk. I will perform as minimal intervention as I need to, because at any point, if we do have a hoist failure or something happens, then obviously the priority is that if we can get them on board safely, and then we can start heading back to shore.
How you doing?
Yeah, but okay.
First thing I'm doing with any patient, I just eyeball them. Straight away you get a feel of how sick they are. With this young man, he was able to walk straight to me. He looked like he was uncomfortable, but my eyeball assessment was that actually this guy's okay, and we can actually just focus on getting him off the boat.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to put you in a special harness. Yeah. Put you up in the aircraft and then we'll give you some pain relief inside, eh? Yeah. Put a little drip in your hand. Yeah. Okay. All right. Where are you fishing?
We were up far north, and the weather turned cracked, so we came down here.
Yeah. While we're doing this, we're always calculating risks. You know, is there any change to the sea state? Is there any change to the speed of the vessel that we're on? We're on comms with the helicopter, so we're always listening.
27 miles away.
Is there any change in their tone of voice? Is there anything that would suggest there's any heightened anxiety or anything that would flag up in my head that something's actually changed?
We're going to take you to Tauranga. Yeah. Okay? Just get you sorted out and then we'll go from there. Yeah.
We've got a special harness called an ARV that we put on the patient.
Okay, put this on like a jacket.
And there's a number of safety systems with it.
It gives the paramedic good control over the patient.
Actually, no, you'll be like this. Okay? So you'll be up sort of side sail here. Yeah. We've got a stretch that comes out, so we're going to lift you onto it. Yeah.
With any patient on the end of the wire with me, I always gauge it by what their anxiety levels are like and how assertive I need to be with them.
When I go like that, just shuffle yourself onto it. It's pretty straightforward.
He was able to mobilise. His anxiety levels weren't high, so he had the capacity to understand what I was saying.
Over here. If you just kneel down. Yeah.
Rusty to the helicopter.
Yeah, go ahead.
We are ready to go.
Roger, running in. It's clear to bring the hook inside. Affirm.
It's just keeping instructions very simple. We're going to keep them safe. There's going to be noisy. It's going to be windy. It's all about preparing them mentally. And
it'll get a bit windy, but enjoy the ride.
Right door's back and secure, we're set and secure. I'm just rotating the rules outboard.
Copy. And under your con.
Roger. Forward and right 40. Clear to winch out.
Clear to winch.
Hook's at a good height above the water. Forward and right 15. Forward and right 10. Forward and right 5. Forward and right 3. Forward 1. Right 1. And he's got the hook in his hand.
So far, everything is going to plan, but the most dangerous part of the rescue is still to come.
The weight of two people compared to the weight of one person on the side of a helicopter is obviously a risk.
Having to maintain position, or do you want to back off?
No, all good.
The rescue swimmer will put the patient onto the winch hook.
Touching the ARV.
And then he'll put himself onto the winch hook.
Touching himself. We've got a clear exit path.
And then he'll give a good clear thumb.
Forward and right 2. Forward and right 1.
And then the pilot will take the weight and they'll lift him off the vessel.
Taking the weight. Clear to winch.
Clear to winch.
Roger. And back and left, they're clear of the deck.
Patients are very unpredictable, so you're picking someone up who's sick or injured and they're panicking as well. They've never been under a big helicopter with lots of wind.
Yeah, they're halfway. Approaching a step.
You're trying to keep their arms down, keep them reassured, and even though you explain to them what's going to happen when there's a 4-ton helicopter over your head with lots of noise, it can be quite daunting for your patient.
A little bit of a rotation there. He's got his head on the step, secure. Just trying to get him up past the rules here. And he's at the rules, touching safeties.
It always looks a little bit awkward when we're bringing them into the cabin, and the reason is patients don't know what's going on. We work together as a team. It's something we practice, drill and train on a regular basis. But obviously, for someone who's hanging on the end of a wire for the first time in their life, who's unwell or sick, it can be quite daunting.
And touching a second safety. Pilot hoist control.
Yep.
Winch out. Out. And stop.
Stop.
You're so task-focused during that period, there's really no room for any other thoughts that come into your mind. You're just sort of engrossed in the task at hand till that point where the patient's secure and the door's shut.
Power off, confirmed off in the rear, right door's coming forward.
This is the point where you can relax and you know that everyone's safely on board the aircraft.
Cheers, guys. Yeah, bloody awesome.
Once we get the patient up and both doors are closed, there's always a big sigh of relief that everyone's safe and well, and then we can start clinically looking after him. We'll inform the hospital that we're coming if we need to.
Russ, so from a medical point of view, he's not allergic to any medications. He's a little bit sore, but not, I wouldn't say overly.
Ambulance Westpac Rescue 2. We're confirming we've got a stat of 3 on board and we've got a 12-minute ETA to Tauranga Hospital.
Good work, Norm, you're like a rock. No, I had my eyes closed. It's all you.
Once I've checked the cabin secure, you immediately have that moment of reflection. You're always thinking, oh, is there something I could have done better?
Well, Glenn, that was his first operational winch and his first operational boat winch, which, not bad. Not bad for a beginner.
Overall, I was pretty happy. There's always room for improvement. The main thing was that the job was carried out safely and efficiently. Everyone was able to go home at the end of the day.
Glenn did a pretty good job. Don't tell him I said that, but for his first boat winch, it was pretty good. You're putting your life into somebody else's hands. We always come back and shake our arms and legs when we come back and say, sweet as, I'm still in one piece, so it went well.
Tower Westpac Rescue 2 is the auxiliation point at 1005. Are you happy for me to go direct to NZGA?
I love the role. I love the ability to perform challenging missions, but it's also keeping ourselves in check. We're not superhuman, we're not superheroes. We just collectively work as a crew, and I guess that's the power of and the strengths of what we do. We have a lot of trust in each other.
Okay, tail's clear right at your discretion. And you're right over the H now. Good position.
Ultimately, we've got a guy to the hospital in a safe way, and he's actually going to be okay.
What's your name? Andy. When did the pain come on, Andy?
Real bad pain sort of just started coming on early afternoon.
Today?
Yeah.
If anyone's ever had kidney stones before, it's very painful, and the last place you want to be on is a moving vessel miles from shore. So he needed to get off the vessel, so it was appropriate that we went out and rescued him. Right. Normally fitting well, eh?
Yeah.
Working on the boat?
Yeah, we're out fishing. Tuna.
Yeah.
You get a great feeling of satisfaction knowing that you've contributed to getting all members of the team home safely and managed to get the patient safely into medical care.
It's helping people and getting clinicians to a point in somebody's life where they're having a bad day and we can hopefully make their day better. And that's, for me, is the kick.
Enjoy the ride?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Also landing a helicopter in places where helicopters don't normally go is also kind of cool.
Andy was left in the care of the medical team at Tauranga Hospital, where his kidney stones were treated.
And steady. Steady.
Next time on First Responders.
It is all the way up here. There's visible bone, all of the internal structures. I can see everything.
A man fights for his life after an horrific accident at sea.
The amount of blood loss that he had suffered was extensive.
So he's been found under the tractor, unconscious for a period of maybe 2 minutes or so.
Concern for the health of an Auckland man.
I've barely been able to palpate his neck because he was in so much pain.
And a novel journey to the rescue chopper.
Putting me in the back of a van.
Yeah, they found your VA.
Yeah, you're going in the back of the Missy, all right?